Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye has friends. No, really, Jeff has friends. Jeff's friends are on this podcast. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship.
Friendship.
Welcome back to Jeff Dye's Friendship Podcast, episode 88. 88 weeks of giving you, my friends, introducing you into my life, showing that friendship is magic, showing that friendship is something you can choose, something that is what's the term? It's unconditional. Friendship is what you share with your dog. It's what you share with a human. Friendship is superior to far all the other things, and that's why I started a friendship podcast. I am great at making friends and picking the kind of people I want to have in my life. This week, on episode 88, we have Beth Stelling. She's a very funny comedian who had like a meteoric rise in stand-up comedy, where literally I went from never hearing of her to the next day seeing her on everything, being on these podcasts. And when that happens, you know that we found somebody pretty special, because everybody universally is just like, she is great and you should watch her. Very little criticism in the industry for this woman. And that's why I was happy to have her on. She doesn't do a lot of podcasts. She's not a podcast kind of person typically. But that must have changed over a little while, because now she has her own podcast. It's coming out soon. And she agreed to be on mine. You were going to love her. She has got a very great way of just shining. She shines. She's so likable and silly and playful, but she's also thoughtful and kind. You're going to love her. I'm obsessed with her. If you guys are listening to this podcast, go ahead and please hit subscribe. That really helps us climb the ranks so more people can find it. If you are watching this podcast, thank you. That means you're a Patreon subscriber. If you aren't a Patreon subscriber and you'd like to watch this episode and all 87 other ones, all you got to do is go to patreon.com/JeffDye, and you can watch every single episode of our friendship podcast. Also, if you're a Patreon subscriber, it is a $10 fee per month, which is a lot. That's more than Disney Plus. That's more than Netflix. But also, you're investing in me. It gets you free comedy club tickets. It supports what we're doing here. The more subscribers you get, the better the content's going to be, and the more often, so that we don't have to do other things. And we really just appreciate you subscribing. We really do. That also gets, like I said, it gets you free comedy club tickets to any of my live performances, and it gets you you direct contact with me. You can message me all day if you want by just subscribing. You get to be my friend by helping this podcast. Other than that, enjoy the episode. I love you guys. We'll see you afterwards. Do you think that women have bad posture because their boobs are heavy?
For some,
It's a good
for
way to start the
sure.
show.
Oh, just a good question.
Yeah, it is. For some, for sure. You know,
I have good posture, but I don't got boobs.
yeah, but you know that you could actually get your insurance to pay for it if you said you had back problems.
Oh, really?
A breast reduction.
Yeah.
Reduction.
I was trying to write a joke.
Rejection.
Rejection's a great name. Rejection.
Yeah.
I was trying to write a line where I was like, we live in weird times, really weird president, there's war, genocide, breast reductions. I mean, it's tough times. But again,
we're losing a lot of good breaths.
great stuff, is really is being lost. But I always
I've
shy away
get
from
one.
humor like that just because I look like a frat guy, so I can't be doing too many frat guy jokes.
Yeah, I guess was there do you really think about is there stuff you actually avoid?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
not as much anymore.
I mean, I'm same.
I used to be very conscious. I used to be more conscious about it, and now getting older has made me care a little less about. I'm just going to be kind of unapologetically myself.
I'm there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when I first started. I mean, it had so many funny little rules. I remember
Oh, really?
thinking.
Let's hear some of those.
I remember saying I'll never repeat a joke.
Yeah, right.
What?
I just didn't get it. I didn't
Okay.
understand. I thought I would come to every open mic with new material.
Where did you start?
Gotcha.
In Chicago.
Oh, yeah, you already told me that.
Did you see me? I started to go down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the good work. We'll keep you, Tony, do
Keep
your
you
mean producer.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to start a new character where I'm like a mean producer.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'll keep you honest.
Okay,
This
thank
podcast needs some
I'll,
meanness.
I'll just snap. If you hear a snap, that
Hey.
means you tighten up.
Push them out.
you. Tits up.
Tits up, yeah.
Do you watch Maisel?
No, yeah,
That's
my
her
roommate
little
does.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tits up.
You just hear tits up from the other room.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you watching?
Oh, that's not what I wanted.
Like,
That's not what I hoped. Wait, so
my hair
the reason I asked that is because that sounds like something like a Portland comedian would do. Like, I'll never repeat a joke. That's so contrived. You know?
Why Portland?
Because, they're very, like, artistic.
Oh, okay.
They care more about, like, the arts.
Well, this was
But
Chicago.
when you're an artist, you tend to be an elitist. And when you're an elitist, you tend to be snobby about,
I think in my head, I just thought, like, I'll work so hard and be so creative that I'll always have something new.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then the other one was I'll never take a set list on stage,
Okay.
which now,
Every show.
if I don't have a set list, I'm like, whoa, you did it. And that's like been an insecurity over the years even.
Really?
I think now you see more bigger name comics having them. And so it's
Yeah,
always
one
like
guy
a
did a
little,
whole special of it.
who was it?
Gerard Carmichael. He
Oh,
brought
he
his
just-
notebook on
Oh.
stage, and some people were like, "Wasn't that really like edgy of him?" I was like, "Some people would call it lazy." But like he didn't prepare the special. He just like his.
I'm just throwing some stuff out there.
Yeah, let's see how this does. What?
I did,
It's on
yeah.
HBO, directed by Spike Lee. How you doing this?
When I sometimes open for Sarah Silverman on the road.
Nice.
And
I
she
love her.
will she's the best. But she sometimes has her notebook if she's leading up to the special. Like she'll
Right,
have a
which is
legal
great.
pad and she'll say, sorry, I have notes. I don't respect you as an audience. So,
I
it's a nice way
actually
to
have
cover it.
set list jokes.
Do you?
Yeah, because I get in my head. So sometimes if they see me looking at my set list,
Yeah.
I'll think I have to reference it. So I'll be like, "Oh, these aren't jokes. That would be unprofessional. This just says you're doing great." That's all. And then I'll have like a page on there, and I'll show it to them that says you're doing great. But under it is like little. Anyways, so what are some of the rules
I was
that you
gonna say,
have?
what is like a set list of yours? Like you know how like
Mhm.
like mine would be. I'm trying to think of a good run. Actor, headshots, Blackbeard, stepmom, mom, Nigel.
Are these jokes
press
or
slash
bits?
charge? I'm just wondering what yours says because that's
I know, but would those be jokes
those
or
are
bits?
full jokes. Yeah.
See, so mine would just be subjects. So it'd say right now it'd be Mexico.
I know. I look at
it's
it. I've been
tough.
looking at it for like 4 straight weeks. I've been on the road, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's very hard to.
it's like
That's why I need the set list because I
I
can't
know.
remember
It's
it.
like it's freaking relying on GPS too
Oh,
much.
so it goes Mexico, and that's like a 15-minute chunk,
Dang.
and then then it goes to Be Happy, and then from Be Happy it goes to women, like it's just the subject of women,
Mhm.
and wherever
Ladies.
wherever I take that, it's
Do we
usually
really
me like
need 'em?
lecturing women, like just that's the whole subject.
That's what- that's
Come on,
why-
just
That's why I'm here.
laugh and joke. Please, why are you overthinking it? And then the rest I just kind of wing it from there. But
So what you're taking up there is
it's like
seriously
3
only
words.
Like,
yeah. What's the ones that I want to remember to do in that order or whatever?
Okay.
Or maybe it's longer. I
It
don't
has to be because I'm over here. Like when you do
Let's
an
look.
hour, like when I do an hour, it's filling. I fold it in half,
Mhm.
and it's filling 2 and 3/4.
Well, I guess when I say I wing it from there, it means that can be all variable.
Excuse me.
That set list could be jumbled from there. Does that make sense? There could be like 50 words underneath that.
Okay.
Those are the only ones that are like concrete
Okay.
that I'm starting
Then
with.
you're just going, I might do this one, and then
Right.
that one, and then this one.
Exactly. And that
So then
can
it's
be,
just like a word bank.
Yeah.
But what if you? Yeah, I guess you'd know
Choose
if you
your own
repeated
adventure.
it.
Yeah.
But show 2 sometimes
Oh, I
as you're
would
saying,
never
you're like,
worry
did
that
I
I
already
repeat it.
say that?
I only do that when it's like when I was in New York and it's like doing like 6 shows or something. And you're like, ugh, what did I
Yeah.
say last? And how did I say it?
Sometimes if the late show, I don't do a full hour because I'm tired. I have like a.
Only you could make unprofessional kind of adorable. Like you broke
Yeah.
the rule. You're not respecting the audience for sure. You're giving them less. The contract says an hour, and you're
It
just
says
like,
45.
but I'm so
Yeah.
sleepy. So it's like allowed.
And also sometimes I feel like their attention spans are good.
You're like they were sleepy too.
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are tired, right?
We're all
Right?
ready to call
What do
it
you
a
say we
night.
all get out of here. Go back to our apartments and sleep. Wait, so are there any rules that you've made about that you haven't changed, that you're like stuck to?
That I haven't changed?
That you think now, like, oh, I wouldn't do that
I've broken
kind of
all
humor.
of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the other one was don't hook up with other male comedians.
Yeah, that's impossible. We're in the business.
Sarah, again, says, you gotta eat.
I used to have a thing, and again, I've never said this on stage, but it's like Bill Hicks was always like, fuck the audience. Jeff Dye says, fuck the audience. Because if it wasn't for my comedy, I would have never had sex. I was like a church kid. It was like, they put it where? Like, oh my God, I like boobs, not that.
Yeah.
And then I got into stand-up, and I was like, no, this is great. And the crowd is so nice to me now.
Yeah, of course. And then not to mention, like, a sense of humor is attractive. So I'm not saying like, wah, I never get hit on. I'm not saying I've never been hit on.
Mhm.
I would say more cases after a show, it's a guy coming up to me. This hasn't happened in a while. It was more like in Chicago, local, like when I was doing local shows, a guy coming up asking me how to get into comedy. Because I think he feels a little less emasculated asking a female comic than a male comic.
That probably
Maybe.
is in to talk to you.
Yeah, maybe. But also, why would I want to help you
That's true.
become a comic and then also be interested in you? I mean,
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, it gives them an excuse to be like, look, I'm not men love to
Yeah.
do that. Like, well, I'm not hitting on you. I was just asking you, about your dog. You're like, no, you weren't.
And then another time.
Yeah, you were just...
Yeah. Lately, we were talking about like not seeing from someone else's perspective. Lately, I have felt a little more empathy for men who typically make the first move because it
Yeah.
is so scary. Even a kiss or something like that. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
even if you want to,
It's
it's
tough
like,
to know when to engage.
yeah. And then also you're just like, then they leave and you're like, God,
I know.
why didn't I?
Yeah.
Or something, or you just have that feeling.
I have often said that, like, mostly to my sisters or to, like, women I know really well. But I'll be like, go out and get what you want. Do you know how many dudes will be so happy about that?
Yeah.
They'd be like, I didn't even have to think about it. I didn't have to overthink. We just, like, kissed. We got the kiss out of the way. Or, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she did it.
Yeah.
Like, I can
Yeah.
do other things. I'll pay for shit. And I can do,
Yeah.
do all those other guy things, stereotypically. But, like, it would be great if you engaged.
Yeah.
Like, that
Because
would
what's
be
the
nice.
backlash if it's like, I'm like, whoa, like I didn't want that. Then that's over. I do that, then there's a hashtag involved.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like,
You know what? A story I've never shared on here.
Uh-oh.
Debating. There was a girl
This can be edited.
who
Yeah.
engaged.
I hate doing that though.
No, we won't edit this. I'll keep it in. That's why I'm speaking so slowly, because I'm thinking.
So we
that-
can listen.
She engaged, and I didn't know what to do, and that was very humiliating for her. So humiliating that our friendship is
Hold
now.
on. Sorry. She engaged and you didn't know what to do, or
I
you didn't want it?
didn't know if I was interested yet.
Yeah, you're just sort
Just
of like,
thought we were pals.
yeah.
So when she did engage, and I was like, oh, it made her so humiliated, I'm guessing, or upset, or whatever her emotion was. I don't
Yeah.
want to pretend I know her emotion. That even to this day, she's gotten mad at me over nothing. Like, she'll just have these huge fits with me, and then we flirt again, and we're fine. And then she just decide I can't even talk to you and it's the weirdest thing. And I think it's all because of that time that she initially put herself out there and was vulnerable, and I didn't reciprocate.
I've experienced the same thing though with a male.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody I've worked with who's a male comic.
Yeah.
And I've also experienced positive. I know you were joking when you're like, and then there's a hashtag.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I get where you're coming from because like I feel some people because I do empathize, but also it can be pretty clear. Like I've had a
Sure.
comic who I know come up to me, say, "Hey, I think you're really pretty and nice. Would you want to go get a drink?" And I said, "No, I'm okay." And he goes, "Okay, cool. I'll talk to you
What
later."
a good guy.
And it was like something I'll always remember
Yeah, because that was the right
because
way
it
to
was
do
so
it.
easy and kind. Like
Yeah.
he just
Yeah.
came up and said it,
Yeah.
and then I said, "Oh, I'm okay." Or whatever.
I would never do that. And you know why? Because I'm too afraid. I would just be too afraid
it was
to
just
do
so
that.
it was
Yeah.
so painless and like I always think of him fondly. Like
Yeah, of course,
it was
he's a
just
good
like
guy.
the best way to do it.
Right.
And he dates other comics now, and I've seen him around, and we're always cool. But yeah, this sort of negative feelings coming back to get you.
Yeah.
I've experienced that too, where other people have even noticed, like, Jesus, what's he mad about?
What
You
that guy's
know?
got problems.
Yeah, and
I
it's
did it
like,
to a
I
girl,
think
like-
it's that I didn't hook up with him.
I was in New York, and you know of me, or you know how
Yeah.
I kind of am. I'm like a clumsy, kind of silly guy. I don't fit in at New York at all. I was always in the way. Everyone hated me. Like they're like, "Why are you smiling?" I had like complete strangers be like, "What is this? Like, what are you doing?"
You like a stroll?
I do, yeah.
And
I
that's
love
not
walking.
New York.
I like looking at
No,
stuff.
you like to
that's a New York
stroll.
thing.
Yeah.
Stroll.
Yeah.
You like to stroll. New York, we
Oh,
want to.
I see
we
what you
want to
mean.
go.
Yeah.
I see what you
And
mean.
he
like-
likes to stroll.
I like small talk, right?
Yeah.
Like, so like I get to the front of the line of the bodega and I'd be like, how's your morning? He's like, what can I get for you,
Yeah.
dude? Like, it's
Yeah.
like, I'm just,
I would get anxiety going to like gracefully if I didn't know what I wanted. Like I wouldn't even get close until I was sure what I wanted.
Yeah, like I'm just happy, you know, like just whatever. And so there were certain New Yorkers who were like, I want to hang out with that guy because that I don't know anything like that. That kind of
Yeah.
cheers me up. But I'd say 99% of New York just hated me.
Yeah.
But one of those people was. And
She hated you?
No, she loved me.
Oh,
And so
okay.
we would just hang out. Literally, I had no friends, so it was just me and. I was like, she's a godsend. I felt like she's
Yeah.
like answered prayer, like so nice to me. And she was funny, and we would drink, and we had all the same interests. We like baseball. We like, you know, it's like I was like,
Yeah.
I love this chick, but I just thought she was my buddy.
Yeah.
And then she like went to kiss me, and I was like, oh no. But I don't have.
Yeah.
I would, you know, I probably would date you now that. But the moment happened, and I was just like, what? It was like it would be like if Tony just started making out with me. I'd be like, what's happening?
Yeah. I mean, like coming up together with people in Chicago, things like that happen too, where you're just like,
I think she thought those were dates. I think she thought we were.
sure, possible.
And I'm thinking, we're buddies. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm a dummy. Like, like I was taking a girl out and I was like, I got lunch. Like, I was like, it's just stupid.
Opening doors.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holding the small of her
Oh,
back as
yeah,
a friend.
Ask her out
Yeah.
to dances. I still go to dance once a month, even though I've been graduating from school.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've ever. Whatever. The line's hard. Sometimes you can't tell.
It's tricky. But that's a stupid thing. That's a new comic thing to be like, I don't sleep with comics.
It was.
fact-
I mean, now you can justify anything. You can say I need to date a comic because they get it.
Yeah,
And they know I'm out late at night.
Yeah,
You know,
We're the same
Like
schedule.
late at night. What is that excuse? Like I can be out late at night.
Yeah.
Like who can't
Date
be?
a bartender.
Yeah.
You're a grown up, aren't you?
Yeah. And then you say I won't date a comic because I need something different and it's too much alike and there's competition and whatever it is.
I feel like that's a thing.
I'm on a comic train. Wait, that sounded bad.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. No, but the
oh,
you all right?
yeah.
You just headbutted the machine
It
for
was
no
more of
reason.
like a bit
a
of rest.
confident nap.
Am I still confident now?
Yeah. NBA Jam. I've always wanted to rest on this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Street Fighter though.
Yeah.
It's
all
a
the
Street
games.
Fighter.
It's
The
got a-
marquee
it's got a bunch of
says
stuff
NBA
in
Jam.
there,
It was
yeah.
just on NBA Jam, wasn't it?
It was on.
You change it for
I
each
change it
episode.
every time,
What a
yeah.
guy. Wait, what was I
Keep
going to
'em
ask
guessing.
Oh, I forget.
you?
What if you didn't have anything else to say to me for the
That's
rest of
it.
the time?
I guess we'll. So wait, you started in Chicago, and then you came to LA, and you had like a meteoric rise. I feel like.
One time I did a podcast like a couple years into my time here, and he's like, "So you've had a pretty slow year." I was like,
Like what? Yeah, like what are you talking about? Yeah, you like crushed it.
I was like,
I
"Thanks."
went from not knowing who you were to the next day seeing you on like 75 things and all my friends gushing about you. And that's one thing I have not said to other podcast guests that I'll say about you that is definitely true. I've never talked about, heard, listened to, watched anybody with a better reputation in our business with
Well,
other
thank
comics.
you.
Yeah, everyone says like really good things about you.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's cool.
It's touching.
It is. Everyone's like, oh, I love that. Like, I've never heard anyone like, this is a gossipy business.
Of course.
And people
yeah.
love to like, or they'll be like, even if you're the best person in the world, they go, well, I don't think she's that funny. I mean, I get it. I get why other people, they give you that kind of shit. Well, I mean, it's just like, she's doing her thing. Like it's never.
I always felt like and I remember kind of coming up and like the idea of like a comic would get tossed around, and that was always like a compliment, like that if other comics like watching you know.
Right.
And I found that about particular people that I enjoy watching too. And then I think for a while there, it was like nothing got in my head like to the max because I always had to do clubs, but it was almost like, am I alt or am I
in the
club?
cool kid? Because that is the cool kid club, is the alt comics.
Yeah, and so it was always like, what am I? And when I first started too, I was especially a little more like demure and sort of quiet and like not in like a sad way, but the guys in Chicago give me a hard time, say like I whispered my punchlines.
Oh,
and-
that's funny.
yeah, I was just very like kind of
It's a funny
extra
criticism.
deadpan.
She whispers the
Yeah, I mean they were
punchlines.
messing with me, but And then it took probably, I don't even know, I want to say like maybe 6 years in or something for me to actually, I remember doing an evening with Beth Stelling at Meltdown here in LA. And it was like one of my early, like, shortly after I'd moved here. And it was the first time I was like, I felt like myself on stage. And so that's like a pretty long time in, where I was like, it was a nice mix of what I felt like were jokes, but myself. And, I like being silly, but also I like having punchlines.
That's
and
why
telling
I was
stories.
excited to watch your comedy. Or that's not why I was excited to watch it. That's what made me like your comedy. I
Thanks.
don't
I think
want to
you
say
have
I
that too.
don't like it. I want it to feel playful. I want it to feel fun. I don't want to
Yeah.
just hear a guy complain.
Yeah.
And I
that's
also
my least favorite. Like
Yeah.
I'm so poor. I have to sleep on a couch. It's like, well, then get a job.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get
Sounds
what
like
this
maybe
is about.
you quit a job too soon.
Yeah.
I opened for a guy this weekend who crushed, right? I mean, he did very good. He was very funny. But the dude's going to blow his head off in a month. He's the saddest man I've ever met. And comedy, and even what we're doing right now, is an affirmation. We're saying things out of our bodies.
Yes.
And if someone agrees, or if it's even just out there and we believe it is true. And this guy, whole set, I'm a fat piece of shit, and my clothes don't fit, and I've been wearing the same pants and the crowd's just going, he is a fat piece of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, he just basically talked about how he's a big fucking loser for 30 minutes, and then they laughed and agreed, and now he's gonna do a ton of drugs and be dead and blow his head off in a car
Yeah.
in like a month.
I mean, it's like if it's like you're saying, they're affirmations essentially. When you first start, you're like, I'm not going to repeat jokes, but that's part of this is like
Sure.
repeating them until you get them the way you want, or just keep expanding on them for infinity.
Right.
But it's like what you say attracts your audience. Like, and I don't know if everybody. It's like I've known comics to say like go a particular route or say particular subject matter or jokes, and it will bring people that maybe they don't want.
Exactly.
Like.
You think Jim Norton likes his audience?
This
They're
is what I'm
all
saying.
Mutants.
Yeah, would you go on? It's like similarly speaking of him, like,
Yeah.
hey, will you come on Opie and Anthony? No,
No thanks.
I don't.
I agree.
Want those people. That's why I am so grateful to people like Mike Birbiglia
Yeah.
and Sarah Silverman, and I'm trying to think of other people I've opened for because that's a gift.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't mean that they're giving you their audience and they'll 100% like
But they
you.
trust
But
their
it's-
people with
yes,
you.
It's just like an invite to have these people also maybe be your fans.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it is a gift in that way. And what you say
Yeah.
matters and will attract certain people to you. So it's like if you're not a conservative person, but you say conservative things to be, or what? That's a bad example. But maybe you say, I guess we can use this example. I'm already down this path. But it's like you say it, and then they're, oh yeah, this is our guy. But then those people you don't like in your audience will. You made your bed and now you have to lie
don't do a
in
bunch
it.
of filthy jokes and then be like uncomfortable that people that like filthy humor came.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you said it.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. I just think about it all the time. Like, I try to do happy stuff because I'm happy. I try to do playful stuff because I'm playful.
Yeah.
And occasionally I'll drink too much and maybe pop off about something. And then even afterwards I'll go, oh, I misrepresented myself a little bit there. I wasn't even really that attached to it. I just was in a mood and that was true to my moment or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know.
And thankfully sometimes then that's just happened there at the
Yeah.
club. That's the other thing that becomes interesting. Like, you see comics that are I think when you become famous, I think you lose part of the essential process of joke writing and making something because you no longer have the freedom to just try and play until it becomes something. Because, for example, you put out an hour or a half-hour special, in my case, and then you have to rebuild. And so your first shows after that, like,
feel scary.
yeah, and I've done it the wrong way. Like I talked to Bargatze about it, and he was smart. He said, "I tell the audience up front, like I'm going to go as long as I can with my new, and then I'll close with the stuff my
Oh, cool.
old." Like when we were rebuilding after the stand-ups half hour, and I was like, "That's smart." I never did that,
Right.
and there were a couple shows where I was headlining where I felt like I kind of ate shit, and it's like, okay, so the people who saw me in 2017 early on that tour. Probably, I don't know. Are they going to come back?
Yeah, or they'll
I
be
don't
like,
know. Or
yeah,
are they like,
we
"Ooh,
saw
that was
her and
rough?"
she wasn't our favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then are they going to come back now when my hour is ready? It's like, but if I were, I mean, I don't know if famous is the right term, but kind of like if I were overexposed, would I have that? I guess, luxury because, you see these leaked sets from people online. I know it's happened to a bunch of comics, I guess specifically Louis, and I'm not saying like boo-hoo, but
it does suck. No, in that scenario, boo-hoo to Louis C.K.
Yeah, you'd like to
he did bad things, but in that one scenario, that's not
like to
fair
think
to
that
leak
maybe
someone's special.
That was going to get better. Who knows? I mean, I think Bonnie McFarlane made a funny joke about it on Twitter recently. She said like, basically like, oh, I was really waiting to see where that school shooter joke went, or something, because it wasn't funny. It really was just sort of like, wait, is this a little?
But he was
piggy
trying
playing?
something.
Yeah, but also it's kind of like, well, that goes back to the idea of like the controversial, like I was taking a risk versus, or were you just being a little piggy in the mud, like
right?
Like were you
being
just
a little
being
piggy
like,
in the mud sometimes comes around.
Yeah, I'm like that's why that happens
That
sometimes in like. When you leave some boys to themselves.
You want to hear an interesting one?
Yeah, sure.
So,
is my hair insane? I feel like I haven't.
What? You look great.
Okay. I can't see, and so then also this is being.
Oh yeah, she needs her readers.
I feel like I really should have.
Nobody knows this. Beth Stelling is 140 years old. She's the hottest 140-year-old in the world.
I am.
She charges her car out of like the dog door. She lives in a big boot. I picture you in a big boot with like flowers coming out of the top, and you have like a little window on it with like a pie, and you're in there reading with your little readers. Is it time to do my comedy jokes? Is it almost 8 p.m.? Not gonna do the late show. Makes me sleepy.
I do balance a checkbook.
Wait, what was I just talking about before the?
Your
before
piggies
you
in the mud.
Looked at your. Oh yeah. So here's the thing. I was once venting about something that was very serious. There is zero humor to be found in the subject that I was venting about. But maybe that's why we were giggling a little bit, because we were like, oh, it's like saying the N-word when you're like 15 years old with a bunch of your guy friends in like a living room.
Yeah,
you know,
if you
like
have no...
we weren't allowed to say the forbidden word. Can you believe we're saying it? Basically what had happened was I gave.
For the record, I never did that.
Really? Yeah. We used to say it for shock value, like to each other, like in private.
I mean,
like,
I remember when this gay slur or whatever was just kind of more part of growing up, like you call each other.
Yeah, I use it in my act for shock value.
Oh my God.
I do. It hits your ears. You hear it and you go, oh God, did he?
It's harsh.
Yeah, I say it about myself because someone called it to me that.
Yeah.
But even them just hearing the word makes them have a reaction. I lost my track. Oh, so here's what happened. My friend, oh God, I can't believe I'm sharing this.
I'm scared.
My friend,
it's happening a lot this episode.
She brings this out of me. I love her. So here's the thing. My friend's wife got sick and needed a surgery.
Okay.
So for the surgery, everyone knows I do well. We come from not a very rich area. And so there was like this pressure of like, well, how much is Di going to give? Like we're all given this much because this is what we can give.
I see, because it was
He's
like a
been
GoFundMe
given
situation.
more. What will he give? And I could feel that pressure, but I also did want to help. It's an expensive surgery.
Sure.
So I gave a heap of money.
Yeah.
And I felt like I did the right thing. I felt good about it after I gave it. I wasn't like begrudgingly giving it. I felt like this is, I want to help. A few days later, she dies. And she doesn't get the surgery. And I'm saying to my friends, what happens to that money?
Yeah, are we going to get that
and
back?
I don't want to... I shouldn't be laughing about that.
No,
and it's such a piggy in the mud situation of me being like, is there a go refund me? Is that a thing? I don't want to be real chippy at the funeral. Like, this looks like a nice spread.
Yeah.
This looks like did Uncle Jeff pay for the spread? Because that was surgery money.
Enjoy the summer sauce.
And so we're having kind of a good giggle over some whiskey.
Gift bags to go. And like, I paid.
Exactly. They all get like Apple earbuds. Like, no. So anyways, we were having a good laugh about this over some drinks, and it was us being piggies in the mud, and then it's kind of turned into this thing that my friend's like, you got to do that in your act, like you've got to do. And so
have you been?
I did it twice, and both times I felt real gross about it, but it brought the house down.
Yeah.
I mean, like people loved it. Just the line "Go refund me," like just
yeah.
And I think because it has that gravity.
And what about the guy whose wife it was? Is that your close friend?
He is a good friend. He
And
does not know
has he
I'm
heard
doing
it, or
this
what
bit.
If he, okay.
No.
I was gonna say
that's the part that feels scary.
Well, exactly, because that's where the problem is it in lies? That's where the problem lies.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, that saying has like been
lies?
out your entire life, 140
And
years.
lies? Okay. would you do it to the
Therein
person's
lies.
face?
That's-
Therein lies.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And no.
Would you do it to so that's where all of I think these issues come from. It's like, okay, are you going to
Also, would you do any of the bits you do about like your ex to his face?
have?
Huh?
Have and will.
Have and will.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like,
But is that ever? Could you say that for all your jokes?
I mean, I got it. My mom joined me at Comedy Addict this weekend. She gave me a ride over from my hometown in Ohio. And
Were there certain jokes you didn't want to do?
oh no, I did them. And somebody
Okay.
tweeted me that night and was like, "Damn, with your mom in the crowd." And on our walk home, I asked my mom like, "What stuff you didn't like?" And she's like, "I don't like the." One was a worry that she felt that I have a joke where I say, I have reverse body dysmorphia because regular body dysmorphia is when you think you're fat, but you're actually stupid. And then I go, oh no, you're right. There's other reasons like mothers and being brainwashed by doctored images of other women since the time you could see.
Yeah.
And so my mom was like, is that about me? You know, so she
took
didn't like that.
like
Which, by the way, that's happened before. Like she's been really upset by a joke.
which means she's a sweetheart.
Well,
really.
so my mom and I have a podcast together. It's like very
Oh, I didn't know
limited. We're going to put it out bigger, but it's called We Called Your Mom. And me and my mom call my friends' moms.
That's a great idea.
So we could call your mom.
I'd rather not.
Well, we
I'll
could.
do literally anything with you except that exercise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you don't have anything to do with it. It's just me and my mom, and we call your mom. So all I do is ask my friends for their mom's number. You don't have anything to do with it. And so,
Oh, that's so good. What a great idea.
So
Still not being a part of it.
when me and my mom called Maria Bamford's mom, and they both kind of got on me about, I have a joke where I say, my mom still lives at home. Loser. Okay. And so
That's really good.
and she was hurt by that. And I'm like, Mom, I love you. You're so smart. Like, if
It
I
also
said it about my
suggests
sister.
that you live in, your own home.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, if I said it about my sister, that's mean.
Yeah, because she
It's
still lives at
your
your home.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Maria's mom chimed in and said, "Yeah, I think you should take that. You should take that out of the special, or take that out." And I go, "It's on Netflix. I was like, it's too late. We're talking about something in the past." So they
Also,
both piled on. And
That's
so
really
anyway, my
funny.
mom has come for me before,
Mom logic.
and this was the "Is that about me?" And then
Right.
the other one she didn't like is like a pussy eating.
Right,
joke.
just like a sex joke.
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with her personally. It's just
No.
her being like, hey, Beth.
She was speaking of exes.
Beth, how-
that one's a little mean.
What was that?
She used to say, like, if I had
talked about your pee like that.
if I had self-deprecating stuff, she'd be like, "I just be nice to yourself, okay?"
That's sweet too.
Yeah. She wasn't wrong, but you should be nice to
You
yourself.
should be nice to yourself. Yeah, it's good
I mean,
advice.
going back to what you said, like
Yeah,
if you say
yeah.
shit about yourself every night on stage, it's gonna leak into your psyche.
I'm super careful with that.
Yeah.
Like I stopped doing a line where I say, I was like, oh, I'll be dead soon. I just kept saying that all the time
Yeah.
because I take people like bringing me whiskey on stage. They love he's,
Mhm.
I'm sure Bert gets that all the time and stuff like that. So people just, they're like, oh, he's a drinking guy. Let's bring him
Right.
75 shots of whiskey. Hope the late show's not bad. And so I keep going, I'm going to be dead soon because I do this every single night. And I've stopped saying that sentence because I don't want to die soon.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen.
I want to live forever.
I remember early years in Chicago at Lakeshore Theater watching Doug Stanhope and people just bringing him drink after
Oh,
drink.
yeah.
And I left there really sad. I mean, I was a young kid, but I was like, they're just destroying him.
Right. I remember watching him in 2000.
And somebody they
2005.
love, is that how you treat somebody? I mean, I was like a bleeding heart.
Well, like in 2005, I watched Doug Stanhope on stage, and his body was rejecting the shots. So he would take a shot, and he would be like gagging, and he wasn't drunk or anything. It's just that he had just been doing this too long. His whole body's all gaunt. He looked all
Yeah.
kind of like
Wasn't that weird when Johnny Depp produced the special?
I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, I forget. I think it was a CISO thing.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
weird.
I don't even know. I remember seeing something. I didn't watch it
Yeah.
because I was kind of like,
Doug is a really interesting guy to me because, like, one time I tweeted, I had a bad show. People didn't like me, and I felt sad about it. So I tweeted, like, hey, if you didn't like my show, just know that I did try my best, and I love you guys, and I was never trying to make you hate me or upset. All these jokes came from a place of, like, love. That's what I tweeted. And then Doug Stanhope replied to it, and he goes, Jeff, you are the yin to my yang. He's like... Everything I do comes from a place of hatred and spite, and he wrote like this thing, and then he DM'd me like, dude, keep doing what you're doing. I like he recognizes we couldn't be more different, but he also recognizes me like as a truth teller and as like a comedian. And so like I was like, wow, I really value that tweet. I like screenshotted it.
Of
I was like,
course.
yeah,
Should
I'm
be
the yin
printed
to
in
his
here
yang.
somewhere.
Yeah, I hung up everything else.
Yeah, he one time yeah. Where are the tweets?
Yeah, where's all the tweets at?
Somebody one time years and years ago, I just had an old joke, which you know how sometimes like you can look back and be like, yeah, maybe that has been done. But at the time I really thought of it.
Well, and also as long as you think that, then that's okay.
Yeah, like I was always so scared of stealing. Like I never watched comedy.
Yeah.
Especially when I first
But
started.
then it's definitely not stealing.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's really important. Like if sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but like if I hear that you do a joke that Brian Regan does or someone else does, I feel it my responsibility to tell you.
Yeah, you
out
should.
of friendship. Like I just don't want you to hear that from someone who's accusing you of stealing or some like audience member going, "Oh, she just stole a bit." There's sometimes you do a thing that someone else has done, and I need you to tell me if you've heard it.
I agree.
Because one time a guy accused me of stealing a bit from Brian Regan. And I was like mortified. That I was like, how many people? I've been doing that joke for like 6 months now, and nobody's told me until this one guy. And then I went and looked it up, and it turns out me and Brian Regan just watched the same commercial, and we recite that commercial, and then we have our take on it, and our take is even pretty similar too. But I was like, I didn't steal it.
I've had it happen twice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually 3 times in the sense that.
But once you really did steal it.
Always. No, I never. One time was with Nikki. We both had a very similar joke, and they didn't vet it, and we both were on the same night of the Netflix stand-up tapings. Wow.
So it's even on the same
first
thing.
First show, mine bombed after hers. Second show, we switched places. Hers bombed after mine, but she stopped to explain. She said, "Hey, sometimes great minds think alike. Just so you know, you've heard this essentially from Beth earlier, but if you can just pretend like it's like
why
they were
didn't
just
one of you
similar
just
enough."
scrap it?
Because mine was like part of my opener.
Oh, okay.
And that was like literally what we had discussed. Like, oh, that's a really strong joke. Open with it.
Okay.
And so I don't know if they kept both. I can't remember.
I
off
wish the
top.
networks would make those decisions.
Well, no, they should have
and say,
vetted
hey,
the sets better.
one of you needs to not do this
become an issue
on the special.
in post as opposed to why don't you make a different choice here?
Jim Gaffigan did my exact Jim bit, like 4.5 minutes of the exact bit I did on Comedy Central 10 years prior. And I don't blame Jim Gaffigan because I don't think he even knows who I am. I don't think Jim Gaffigan and me have ever been in the same state. But Comedy Central fucking knows.
Right.
Why didn't they do that?
And I think, well, Nikki and I, of course, handle it gracefully. We're friends. And, like, you know, we talked about it in the trailer, like, obviously, it just happened. And this is fucked that it had to happen tonight. So that was one time. I'm trying to think of the other ones I was thinking of. Oh, one was Doug Stanhope, where the joke is like, I love Ohio. It's a joke. I'm from there. And I say a lot of people in Ohio don't realize you can put all of your things into a bag and then leave. And so
I don't get it. Sorry, say it again. Just say the joke again. Don't explain it. Oh, I see what you're saying. You can leave. You can move. Yeah.
And so somebody added me and said something or mentioned me, and and
by the way, what happened? You just did whisper the punchline, and that's why I didn't hear it.
I know. And Doug, they mentioned Doug and said this is a Doug Stanhope joke, and he responded, "Yeah, it's always better the second time."
Oh, that's funny.
So it was sweet of him to do that because, like, of course I didn't steal it. Oh, and the other one was Kanane, similarly to you. And
talking about a guy that hates me. That guy hates me for sure. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm positive. Yeah, he definitely hates me because I'm a little much, you know. And we did a podcast together. The morning. Why do you enjoy that so much? It breaks my heart.
I'm sorry. It's just funny because he's like a funny curmudgeon.
He is. He's a grump. Yeah. To me especially. We did this podcast where it was the morning of that Batman shooter. You know, the guy that went in and shot up that movie theater of Batman fans, or Batman.
He had like
members.
orange hair and.
Yeah, it was the next morning, and everybody was like, it was a really sad morning. Like everyone was reporting about like this horrible thing that had happened, and so the guy that had us on the podcast, he was like, I even debated on like not even doing this today, like trying to be silly in the morning where everyone else is reporting on this exact channel about this really horrific thing that just happened. I don't know why. In hindsight, it seems so weird that it would be that heavy.
Yeah, well,
because I mean, we're just so used to it.
There's been so many, but so, like you keep going. But
and I remember being like silly and being myself and being like, you think people are gonna go like those guys that survived that shooting? They still haven't seen Batman. Like, do you think that they're gonna go
Yeah.
Like, when do you go back to go see Batman into a theater? Like, you
well,
know,
they're Batman now, especially if their parents were killed next to them.
well, it's also like, if you think about it, they were super fans. That was the midnight showing of
Yeah.
Batman, and they didn't get to see the movie that they came to see. But now they really can't go back because they're PTSD and there's
Right.
whatever. So I was just joking about it, and then Kyle
Trying to
was-
find humor in the darkest of
and we
subjects.
weren't recording. It was just me talking,
Mhm.
and then Kyle was like, "Yeah, man, I don't fucking think that's funny, dude." Like, he was like annoyed that I was being so silly
about it,
and
yeah.
playful, and I was being a little hyper because I kind of was excited to be around him too. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Kyle, I love Kyle Kinane. I'm a fan," you know. And then when we start, he basically gave me this kind of like a real short kind of dad moment of like, "Hey, man, like I don't think you." Whatever. So then we start the podcast,
Mhm.
and the guy starts the podcast by saying, "Hey, you know, today we even debated if we should even do this. We all know about the horrific news that happened in Colorado, I think." And and then Kyle made a joke, like popped in kind of like a little line. And I go, "Hey, man, I don't really think it's funny." Like, I just did the opposite of what he did.
Right, yeah.
He did not like that at all.
Yeah.
And I, because I did it while we're recording, you know, so
Right,
now
right,
I look
right,
like I
right.
took the high route
Yeah.
on camera.
Yeah.
And so, since then,
And an enemy was born.
oh, dude,
Yeah.
tell me, it was really uncomfortable the rest of the podcast. He just like didn't yes and anything I said. He treated me like I was invisible, and so I don't see him for a couple years. And I think maybe I was just overthinking all that.
Sometimes.
Right?
We do.
often do that. We're always in our heads. So I go up to him and I go, "Hey, what's going on, man?" And he's like, "Hey, I didn't know we were good pals," or something like kind of like dismissive like that. While I'm trying to, and I was like, "Well, it's official, yeah." You never know.
yeah. Confirmation.
Yeah.
I know. I think too, it's like as you age, and I don't know. I've been thinking about a lot of this a lot, but like as you age and you experience things or you go through tragedies, like some of my earliest comedy, like I had some jokes that were like maybe offensive or inconsiderate, even to my people as a woman. You know,
Right.
like that was another thing. I wouldn't talk about sex.
Oh, that was your first
Yeah.
rule? You broke that
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. And that I actually,
You also got more mature and older about sex.
well, and I will say, like this new hour that I have it does have a good amount of sex jokes in it or that topic. And I'm telling you, the 2 years that I've been working on it, I was really dealing with like full self judgment.
Oh, really? Like,
yes,
for
because
doing
it's
it.
such a stereotype for the female comic. When of course men talk about it too.
Sure.
It's the same thing as if you use the word like in describing dialogue, and I use the word like describing dialogue. He was like, and she was like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't
yeah.
say that.
Oh, you don't?
No, because I will get criticized for it.
Oh, really?
And I'm not saying boo hoo, and I will always be criticized, but we're just under more scrutiny. You'll see it on like
Interesting.
comments or whatever it is, and that's your choice. Like I could say it if I want, but in my head, I really do choose my words wisely because me saying it sounds different than you, or even
Yeah,
other
because there's
comics
that
with a
like
deeper
Valley
voice.
Girl impression kind of thing. Of
Yeah.
like, and he was like, and I was all, and then
Yeah.
she goes.
Yeah.
Whereas like if a guy's like, yeah, he was like,
Yeah,
and then
it's
she
just different.
goes,
It just
yeah,
sounds
it hits
different.
your ears different. There's like that stereotype of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I forget where I was going.
You said you
with
didn't
that.
talk about sex. You had a self judgment about the
Oh
sex
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. It just took me a long time to really be confident in the material and just like, you know what? No, I'm a grown woman.
Yeah.
And I'm making like smart jokes about it and my perspective, and I just want to do it. But I think I was going somewhere else with maybe just like as you age, and you experience more things, you do find more compassion, I think. You know, like where I'm just thinking of the school shooting thing, or you meet people who've survived them, or you whatever. And it doesn't mean you're never going to make a joke about it, but I'm just saying sometimes it gives you a new perspective.
Yeah.
Like at least that's what I've experienced. If I
Yeah.
haven't lived through something,
Sure.
I could make a flippant joke about it. And then once it's hit me or I've dealt with it, even if it was like losing a parent, which I haven't,
Right.
but say I had it like my dead dad or my dead mom or some something
Mm-hmm.
joke. And then once you live through that, I've heard from close friends and others, like you'll just never be the same.
I know, but this is interesting that you're saying this because
And I'm not saying don't do it, but like it just gives you a new
of
perspective.
course. Well, and as we get older, we get better. Like me and Tony talked about it like a few weeks ago about how like I cry so easy now.
Same.
Yeah.
And I've actually always been a
Same.
pretty easy crier.
Yeah.
But now I'm even shocked with myself at what's making me cry.
Yeah.
Like when I used to cry, it's like it was very clearly a sad it was
Right.
very clearly a sad movie scene. It was very clearly something like that. Whereas like now I'll cry something and then go, This is making you cry, Jeff? Like
I
you're
sometimes
touched
will
by
laugh,
this?
especially
Like it's
if it's
very
a commercial for like dog food. You
yeah,
know?
or like I was watching the movie Moana, and like 75 times in Moana, I'm crying. So, but here's the thing. So I'm agreeing with you half that as we get older, you get way more sympathetic to things. Whereas when I was young, I wouldn't have any of this. I am so happy that I'm not in junior high during this Me Too
Oh my
movement thing,
gosh.
because I would have been such a little shit about it. I would have been like, "Oh, fucking boohoo, you women," and you like I would have been a dick. Whereas now I'm like, no, this is a problem, and we should take every level of it seriously. Even the ones that don't seem that serious, it is serious, and the ones that are very serious, then we all agree they're serious. However, where I'm disagreeing with you is when it comes to jokes on stage and just even trying to just be happy and silly. I have no boundaries. I don't care what you've been through, what you did. I'm only making a joke, and I'm only being silly, and I'm very kind of aggressive about that.
You know, I think too, like, so one of my best friends was like survived the Jonesboro school shooting, and she was, I guess it would have been, I think 5th grade, 6th grade, and her best friend was killed right next to her. And so that gives me a new perspective on it. However, I've dated comics who I've been with her at the show where they've made jokes about guns and shootings and all this, and I'll tell her, I'll just that this is going to happen. And she's not sitting there
she's a
arms
human.
crossed,
Yeah,
like,
she goes,
I refuse to laugh at this. So I agree in that, I mean,
because she knows their intent.
but it's
She's
going to be
like,
my
they
taste.
Don't know.
You know, like I'm not going to, some comics can't make me laugh. In taste, there's obviously no argument. Sometimes there's certain comics, and they may even be good for whatever reason. When they start talking, I can't listen. I don't know what it is.
I feel like that. I think we're both talking about Eliza Schlesinger. But
I tried to listen to the special. There was so much clapping and screaming from the crowd. I was like, who are these monsters?
Oh, they're fake. They've been dubbed in.
It was like,
yeah, they've been dubbed in.
I was like, if that were me, I mean, I'm not saying like I'm amazing, but I taped my first album in Chicago and I felt like people were laughing too hard to be friendly.
Yeah.
And I just retaped it and didn't tell anybody up in an attic in Cleveland. And this was when I was like freaking 25. So
hers are being
still,
pumped
I
in
was just
through
like,
monitors. It's not real.
It's not that funny. It's just, it can never be this funny.
It's like jerking off to a hamburger. You're like, that's not possible. We all love hamburgers, but give me a break.
Yes.
You're jerking off to
A
it.
hamburger.
Give me a break. I'm fine if you say I like the hamburger. We can go our separate ways,
Right.
but
Hashtag
you're
jerking off to a
not-
hamburger.
yeah, you're not going down on it, licking the bun's clit.
That was me. You know, on her special, she has hashtags.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I just wanted to make you
No, I
clear
don't-
that I didn't just all of
I
a
don't
sudden do a
watch that.
hashtag joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, on this, it said she'll tell a joke and it'll say the hashtag.
I have
of
it blocked
that
on
joke.
all of my. I have anything with her name just blocked out.
I don't want to see this.
Yeah, I call Netflix. Hey, and they're like, dude, we're not your friend. You can't just call. How'd you get this number? And I was like, listen, can you please take the Liza off of the? But yeah, I just don't. And you know, I know you went through a big thing, and even then, I would never hesitate to make a joke about that subject.
Yeah, I think it's like I mean, if you are like, this is the tough thing when it comes to taste. Like, because what I'm about to say is, if it's funny, I'll laugh.
Yeah, because that's
And
subjective.
that's obviously, yeah,
But that's
exactly.
the answer. What you just did is the secret cup. Because there is no finite what is
Right.
funny means everything's... Because, ask Doug Stanhope's audience where the boundary is. There's no boundary.
Right.
Ask Tim Dillon. And there's the thing, is like, if you want to be a comic who only jokes about, like, kitty cats and birdies, I bet I'd love that special.
Kitty cats and birdies.
I love birdies, and I love, like, kitty cats. I bet I'd love that special.
Yeah.
And...
You would. They would make that
it'd be
for
amazing.
you.
Yeah, I would love that.
You know, I was gonna keep going
Because
I wanna
that's
hear-
my taste.
Yeah.
And then there might be something that's just really edgy and horrific and Holocaust jokes and Hitler and all these things. I bet I'd like that too, because I know they're just trying to make me... I live in this weird world of like, everything's silly. Everything is fun.
I think now though, it's like, what is controversial? Because like,
Well,
I
now
don't
it
know,
has to...
some of the latest specials that are coming out, like they just actually aren't funny to me, but because a man's saying it, he's not as much under scrutiny of being the social justice warrior. Now that's a blanket statement that I'm kind of making, so I'm not even particularly going after Buddy.
Right.
But I just mean like, it goes back to the like, it is
talked-
tougher for a woman to be like, I'm going to go in this direction without being a social justice warrior, especially if it's not funny.
Right.
Okay.
Especially, yeah.
But when a man is like, oh, the Me Too movement, we're already kind of giving him a little more. Why? Because it seems as if in this case he is the underdog.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like
he's
the woman is
the misdirection of like we didn't expect him to have that take.
So
which
I
is
think
stupid for you to think that you know what his
you're
take
a little
would
more
be.
great, but you're definitely less hesitant to call a man a social justice warrior.
Right.
I think.
But there's a lot of these in comedy that we could find. Like Sarah Silverman, when she first started, she was wildly popular because she's talking the way we've only heard men typically talk.
And just really, there was no holds bar. Like, she would go anywhere and
but like we hadn't heard a beautiful woman talk like that on stage. Like Judy Tenuta was just weird, and then Joan Rivers was edgy, but she wasn't sexually filthy. And
Phyllis Diller.
Yeah, and so this was kind of like this new era of like, whoa. And then a lot of female comics did what she did. Like
I remember even, I forget if it was to me or, no, I think it was some booker that we all know kind of saying like, nah, that's not going to work for me. It's just another pretty girl with a dirty mouth.
Right.
I remember hearing that. I'm being vague because I kind of don't remember who said it and when it was, but it was early. I hit myself again.
Posture.
Okay.
That's actually a stereotype of female comedians is they have bad posture.
Yeah.
Like they deliver all their punchlines like this. Have you heard that? Like Whitney, every punchline, lean over.
Yeah, I'm wondering
Eliza,
what mine is.
Lean over.
Mine used to be like, I used to kind of do this or something because I remember somebody somebody did me at Stick or Treat and they were like,
you're like, hey,
I'm like, wait a minute. Do I do that?
I don't want to. That's not me.
I don't want to be this. I don't know. I don't think I
funny.
do it anymore. If you like had a gun to my head and you said, which hand do you hold the mic with? I don't know if I could tell you.
Oh, that's a good question.
It's scary.
Oh, I do this hand.
Yeah, I think
Left.
I am too.
Yeah.
But still.
You know what a pet peeve of mine is? Stupid pet peeve. When someone holds the microphone
At
like
the bottom.
this.
Yeah.
What
Wasn't it
are
Louis?
you doing? No, Joe Rogan does it. My buddy Brian Moot does
I thought that was Louis. Who started this.
I don't know if he started. Maybe I haven't watched a lot of Louis, I
I think
guess.
Michael does it.
I hate it. What are you doing? It drives me. I can't even focus on the jokes.
What about this?
That's good. I hold it like this. like a young MC.
Yeah.
Do you do it? Do you do any mic work?
Never. No, I don't do any of that stuff.
No, me
Do
neither.
you?
No, sometimes I'll, for fun, put the cord over my shoulder.
I actually think that's kind of funny, like a hobo,
Sometimes.
like a little bindle stick.
Come with me. But other than that, I don't think I do any weird.
Really?
No, I mean, I've been more physical, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll just be having fun, get weird. I'll do a handstand or the splits or.
That's not true at all.
For real.
You'll do a handstand? Where?
I got photos of it all.
Then where are you holding the mic?
I think it
Just
is
put it on the
the
ground?
ground there. I
Yeah.
did a handstand recently at the Hollywood.
You're kidding
the
me.
Hollywood Laugh Factory.
Did anybody take a photo of this?
Oh, yeah.
Can I see it?
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to do it right now, but
I'll
I
show
would
you.
definitely. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Liz over at the Laugh Factory. I've done a handstand there. I've done a handstand into a straddle at the
What sentence
Comedy
do you
Addict.
say to get into
just
the
in
handstand?
Vegas. I did the splits just in late November.
Not wearing jeans that night, huh?
I was.
You could do splits in a jeans.
You know they make them so stretchy for us now.
Yeah.
Got a nice stretch.
Rag and Bone. 7. Not 7. What's the one? I can't remember. They make stretchy jeans. But go ahead. Let's see this
7.
photo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I was like, so I'm
I'm
gonna
so
find
excited about this.
And I'm like, where would I best be found?
Didn't she text it to you or email it to you? Search your name.
Yeah.
What a funny thing. And you just go, hey, guys, I just feel like doing a handstand. And they're like, yeah.
I'm sort of like, sometimes it's like, I'm trying to think of like the real reason I do it. 'Cause I'm usually just being fun and having fun.
Yeah.
It could just be like, what do you guys want? I don't know.
I'm missing that in
A
the world
handstand?
of stand-up comedy. People
You
that
know?
are actually enjoying. That was like the best compliment I got first. And the woman that gave me the compliment hated me. She's like not a fan of me.
Really?
Yeah, she's one of these Seattle kind of grumpy types. And she didn't like my happy-go-lucky bullshit.
Pacific Northwest gets in your craw.
Well, I'm from Seattle, and
Yeah.
I just got criticized by the entire scene because I wasn't up there talking trash about
Oh,
George
okay. So
W.
here's
Bush.
this. That's Vegas.
Oh,
like a
this
couple
is
weeks
a
ago.
great photo. And also, Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, right?
Yeah.
You were there like the night after me.
Yeah, they loved you.
Oh, but I also messaged you there, and you neglected to say I'll be there tomorrow. You were just like we were like texting.
Was I there tomorrow though, or
I
the
think it
following
was like
weekend?
the next. Oh, maybe the following weekend.
Yeah.
Who were you there with?
Daniel Webb opened for me.
Okay, cool.
Do you know him?
Well, but I saw you in a photo with someone.
Oh, Lunel?
Oh,
She just does Sunday nights.
right, and that's
every
why I
Sunday.
have a photo with her there too.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But you guys weren't on the same show. This is
No.
fantastic.
So that's definitely,
Good
yeah.
one. Want the people to see it.
Oh, I forgot that there were cameras.
Yeah.
Damn it.
You have posture.
Okay. And then I'm trying to think of a good. I wonder if I know when I had to cancel some tour dates, I put the handstand one up. I'm like, where is that one?
I have
The
to cancel,
handstand one's
I have to
cool.
cancel some tour dates, but
Yeah.
here's a
me
handstand.
doing a handstand.
Yeah. Well,
Soften the blow.
on my vagina, I had a GIF that said sorry, and it turned like like a bit,
It's a great story.
I know. Maybe it's in my messages
I'd
with
feel
Ian
better.
Fidance.
Yeah, I'd feel better about that too.
Do you know Ian
Ian.
Fidance? He opened for me in Vermont, Burlington, Vermont. We had so much fun. There was a bunch of teens staying next door to us, and they wouldn't shut the fuck up. So we started calling
Oh,
and
nice.
fucking with them, and it was some of the best times I've had in a long
yeah,
time.
what'd you call and say?
Oh my God, we scared them.
Oh, really?
We convinced them that a girl was at the lobby because we heard everything. And there was a girl like that. They were like, "Fuck that bitch! I can't believe she did that." Like there was like a fight that happened at the bar, and she like either she threw something in their face or whatever.
Oh,
so we
yeah.
basically made them think that she was in the lobby.
Did you?
Oh.
I would
Should-
make
And
it sound
should
like
the
her
manager
boyfriend.
send her up?
Yeah.
Then
Or then be like,
we
and
called
she's
the
here with his
front desk.
boyfriend, and he's pretty
Yes.
upset with you guys.
then
Oh,
we
that's
called the
great.
front desk and said, "Hey, they're being noisy." So the manager came up and knocked. They think it's the girl. It was so fun.
I like to do some homosexual humor still, whenever I'm on the road.
What's
so like,
that mean?
so it
I like
means-
to do some homosexual humor.
it's maybe not the most mature, but what I'll do is like me and Randy will check into a hotel, right?
Found it.
That's really great. So what I'll do is like me and Randy will check into a hotel, and then
Randy
so my buddy, he's a comedian from Boston. He's actually living here temporarily while he's finding a spot. But he comes on the road with me, and so we'll check into a hotel. The guy will see us. And then he'll see two grown men checking in and different hotel rooms and stuff. And then I'll be like, I'll call down and I'll just say things like, "Hi, I'm about to go have sex with Randy, but I don't know what room you put him in." And then they'll be, and because it's like the Midwest or something, they'll be like, "I'm sorry," and then I'll be like, "Hey, we're gonna need a ton of towels." Like me and my lover just checked it. And it's always funny because they're so uncomfortable with it.
When I said my mom came with me to the Comedy Attic this past weekend, I even said, whatever, who cares? It's not even a good story, but our room wasn't ready, and it was like 4, which is weird. But I guess they gave
definitely
me
should be
it's
ready by
insane.
4.
But I guess it was a suite, which means like 2 rooms for people who don't know. But I mean, I don't normally
Someone
stay in
has a
suite.
late checkout and they want to check out at 8
It was
p.m.
something like 4 p.m.
Like,
checkout.
No, that's not a late
So they
checkout.
put us in another room just because we had driven for a couple hours and we just waited for the room to open up. But either way, like there was some communication with the front desk, which was already weird. And I just said, "Okay, so can my mom and I but we just drove for a while this." And then later, like when he was talking about it with me, he wouldn't really say my mom. He was like, I forget what he said, but it was just like, you can just say my mom. He was like, your female guest or something like that. And I'm just like,
It's not my
are you
lover.
making it seem like I'm dating an older? I mean, like I said it was my mom. Just say your mom's down here.
It's
Can I give her
really
the key
good.
or something like that? I was just like,
We used to go to this one hotel that's one of my favorites in like the Malibu area, and it's like one of the best hotels.
ooh, what's it called?
I don't remember. I think it's just like, what is the most famous hotel that's like famous for being good?
I don't
It's
know.
all about service. It's not about like the
I
place
want
as
to
much.
know because I want to go. I wanted to do a staycation.
Oh, I got a few for you then.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I got some good ones. My favorite is Pelican Hill,
Okay.
the best, really, really good. But this isn't the one that I'm
And
thinking
that's
of.
Malibu?
Yeah, it's like
Okay,
that.
cool.
You'll love
Pelican Hill.
it. Whatever this hotel was that I can't think of the name, but it's like a very cliche name. It's like, oh, you're staying at the Ritz. It's like something like that.
The
Like
Four
you've heard it.
Seasons.
4 Seasons. It's
Oh.
4 Seasons.
Yeah.
So at the 4 Seasons in Malibu, he keeps
Good catch.
saying.
Thank you.
He keeps saying.
Randy?
No, the guy at the front desk. I mean, they're trained to do this.
Oh.
He kept calling her my last name. So he'd be like, "Mrs. Dye, right this way."
Right,
Because
right.
I booked the room and I'm with a woman. But that's quite a presumption.
Yeah, it
Whoever
is.
I'm with, like Mr. Stelling?
Exactly. If you booked it, it would be Mr.
I always
Stelling.
say if I get married, the guy's got to take my last name.
That'd be a fun switch. But also, yeah, but his family line's held on to that forever.
Yeah.
Your family line
Not
just
so much.
took
We just
all
have
the
women.
dudes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it sucks.
I know. I mean, I guess I'll just keep it, but it won't be passed on.
You'll have to convince your daughter or son to keep that name.
I always thought the hyphens were so weird, and now I kind of like it's like you change on so many things, at least I find.
Well,
like I used to
like, let's say you get married. You're going to still be Beth Stelling because like all your shit is Beth Stelling.
Yeah. What if I went through the painstaking process of
switching it all? Hi, on Netflix, can you switch it to I got married, so if people are going to
Yeah.
search it, I want...
I got married and I care about
And Netflix
it.
is like, again, who is this? How did you get
and
this
then
number?
and then get divorced.
Do you know that
We
Jeff
gotta change
Dye
it
idiot? Did he
back.
give you this phone number?
Beth Dye.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Beth and growing up, whenever the teacher said Beth, did you think they said Jeff? Because I always thought they were saying
No.
me and Jeff. Always
Teachers didn't talk to me much.
Jeff. I just got in trouble.
It was always go to the office. That's all they said to me.
I was always stop talking. Or,
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so that's a fun one. Were you like a goofball, like in
Yeah, I was
school?
the class clown.
Nice. That's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because most of the comics were the kid that was quiet, like in the room, who was like, just say funny things, and the writer types.
Yeah, I was.
I was the more like standing on the table going,
Yeah. I was always making the comment that
Yeah.
got the laugh.
Me too.
I mean, not always. I just mean like that's what I was definitely going
That's
for.
what I was. I was a
Yeah.
legend. I won like homecoming king. I won prom king. Right? You're not even supposed to get both of those.
I was on the court both, but I never won.
Oh, I won it all. And the teachers were actually mad
I
at
won
the
it
kids.
all.
No, but the kids were mad at the teachers were mad at the students, like, stop encouraging him. Like, cause like we had like Ryan Welsh, who was like the greatest baseball player like ever, and he was like handsome
go
and
on?
he had the same girlfriend the whole time, and he even married her. Like, I mean, he's just this classic abs and shit. He was great. And then we had a kid that was the class president.
Mm-hmm.
They were all in the court, and guess who they give it to? The guy that's like suspended every freaking week, and because humor goes farther.
It's true.
Yeah, it's more fun.
It is. I'm like looking back and of course I can't help but think about the teachers that like got mad at me and stuff. And I actually run into one of them.
They
and
probably
it's
love
still
you
awkward.
now. Oh, it is?
Well,
My teachers come to my
I
shows.
ignore him.
They misrepresent history. They're like, "Oh, we always love you." No,
yeah,
you
yeah, that's
didn't.
true. But see, mine remember because I really
Gave it to. Oh, really?
butt heads. Yeah,
How?
I had a desk
Give me an
thrown at me.
example.
A
What?
desk thrown at you?
Yeah, it was like
Oh,
this.
you went to one of those
I
like.
mean, thrown is
but
thrown is
still.
like it was like pushed at me like that.
Oh wow.
by a
He
teacher.
was so rageful. Yeah.
Couldn't you like? You could like sue the school
Well,
now.
Should
for
you end
that.
that man's
it
career
was a
or
different
person's
time.
Statute of
career?
limitations.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and sue him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was so cruel. He was just a cruel person.
Yeah.
But I remember running into him at like my sisters all live at home still, and I ran into him at a game back home, and I ignored him. I'm not
Of
talking
course.
to you, and I all of a sudden hear, "Hello, Miss Stelling," like
Ew.
that. You know, like he's
Ugh.
basically saying, "I see you're ignoring me. I'll do it."
I
You
picture
know?
him in tidy whities behind you, all oiled
Yeah.
up. Hello, Miss Stelling.
That was the thing. He always had such a strange relationship about like. I'm not even really insinuating anything. He just loved the boys. It was just like he always had a weird relationship with all the boys in 8th grade, and he didn't really like the girls. I know that seems like whatever stereotype,
what a dick.
whatever it means, but yeah, he just always like some of the boys would stay, and he'd give them money sometimes. For,
What?
What?
Yeah, for I think it
You
was
went
like
to a weird school, a
Yeah.
desk throwing, money
it was like
giving
it was
teachers.
a good school. In fact, in our area, my mom taught in Kettering, which was like I guess typically more middle class or something, and I went to Oakwood schools, which were always thought as like the rich upper class.
Oh, nice.
But my mom was a school teacher in Kettering, and she
Yeah,
just
yeah.
raised me and my sister. So we lived in Oakwood and we went there, and my mom paid high property taxes, but
Yeah.
I worked jobs, I was a
Yeah,
more
you
normal
made it.
kid. But anyway, gosh, if I ever had a job with Fairmont kids, they'd always say, "I need an uncle," and I'm like, "We're both catering, okay?"
Yeah.
And you're
I don't think I'm
Yeah.
better than you.
Yeah,
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 it's
yeah.
so true.
lifting hot lids to put in front of people,
Which is an
Yeah.
annoying thing in the first place. So I got picked on for like wearing the same clothes and stuff because my parents didn't buy me clothes, whatever.
Yeah.
We didn't have money. And I remember always just thinking, even at that age, what are you picking on me for? Get
Yeah.
mad at my mom and dad. They're the poor ones.
Yeah.
I can't work. I'm 10.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you're criticizing
I know
me.
kids are just. I don't know. Maybe it's better now. We don't know because there's so many
So-
rules
yeah.
and bullying.
Yeah.
Is
I would
like,
get that shit because my clothes would smell like smoke because my parents would
Oh.
smoke cigarettes.
Gosh.
Like,
yeah.
I remember
what?
that too.
What do you want for me to do? They're
With some of-
smoking in the car.
Yeah.
Which is awful.
Yeah, I'm not,
Do
chain
you,
smoking.
Did you grow up to smoke or no?
No, heck no.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because I know what you mean though. I as a kid remember being like, ew, you smell like smoke. Like
Yeah.
it's just like a natural reaction, but it isn't your fault.
Yeah, I'm like, what do I live in the house
It's a
that gets
bummer.
smoked in? Like,
Oh,
what am
yeah.
I
It's
such
supposed
a
to
bummer.
do? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that stuff is strange. I'm fascinated that your school was mean to you for being the class clown, though. Like the teachers.
Oh no, the teachers just hated
Yeah.
me. I think not all.
Were
Some
you
of them I
s-
took
did
a
you get
liking
good
to, and they
grades?
loved me. Oh yeah, I think I graduated. Oh, I can't remember my GPA in high school. I think it was 3.4.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
3.5 maybe. I mean, I got into some good schools. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, you know what I mean. And then I did better in college, but I was a theater major in college. I was magna cum laude.
Oh, back-to-back theater majors.
Yeah.
Me too.
That's
It was
so
liberal
weird.
arts, so I had to take other classes, but I still graduated
Yeah.
magna cum laude.
I had teachers like come to my shows and like flirt with me and stuff. You're like, no, that's not a thing anymore.
Oh my god,
That was a thing back
I'm
then.
surprised you didn't kind of like
Want
entertain
to?
that, or if they were hot or something like that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't want to be mean to them. They know they might be listening,
might
but
be
they weren't that
listening.
hot. They weren't hot then either. They were just like, it was like a teacher thing.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. One of ours was hot. And
Yeah.
then looking back, the one that everybody really liked, it was just cool water.
Yeah.
It tricked us into thinking that he was hot. The cologne.
I'm always fascinated by the new girl. So like being the new girl
Oh, yeah.
can change like our new girls weren't even that attractive, but the fact that they were the new girls,
I know.
hottest girls in the world to us.
Yeah.
Like we just couldn't handle a new girl. We're like, there's
Yeah.
a fucking new girl?
Yeah, the new
We
girl.
know all the girls, but there's a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and so like it was like a mad dash. All the dudes were like, "Oh, did you see her? Oh my god, I got a good look at her
Yeah.
after third period." Like it was
Sometimes
like a whole
it's just
thing.
all the new girl needed was boobs.
Uh,
Sometimes I felt that's how I remember growing up thinking that. I'm like, I think that body and boobs goes way longer than your face. Go further
not
than
for
your
me.
face.
No way.
I just always feel that because I don't think I was ever.
Well, we had a girl. I'll even say her name. Michelle Gifford.
Oh my
I'm
god.
glad you didn't say one of my cousins or
The
something. Then I
perfect
would've been upset.
explosion of new girl, beautiful, and huge boobs.
The perfect explosion.
Oh, I mean, like there was never someone more famous. A star never shined so brightly as Michelle Gifford in 5th grade. Because
And what a name,
fifth
too.
boobs.
huge boobs in 5th grade.
I didn't get my period
Came
until
from
9th,
somewhere
and
else.
boobs didn't come for a long
Oh,
time. I was
really?
a gymnast. Yeah.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you were strong then. You could actually
Oh,
do
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Very, very strong.
I
I had
love
like
that.
a 6-pack.
And the
The-
biceps.
The handstands make
Yeah.
sense now.
Yes.
Oh,
I
that
can
makes
still do
total
the
sense.
splits, as you can see.
Did you ever
Yeah.
do yoga?
I'm not a huge yoga person. I did it with my mom a couple weeks ago.
I do it all the time. I'm gonna go like in an hour.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed. But the reason I thought, yeah, Michelle Gifford, she took the city by I mean, like
Yeah.
she was Michael Jordan. I
What
mean,
a
it was
fresh
insane.
start.
And exactly, and she hated it. She was very ashamed of her. She was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh,
like she was
yeah.
embarrassed, which is crazy. If she knew how we were talking about her, she would have
Right.
worn a bikini to school.
But
And
that's
she-
probably what she was, scared of. When you have,
Why?
because I think it's
She's a celebrity.
It's attention and eyes on you.
Celebrity.
Yeah. What's so listen to this? She takes a liking to one of the
you?
kids. No,
Oh.
fucking nobody liked me. I was a
Really?
virgin until I was 21.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was a late bloomer. I wanted to be this guy forever, and now that I'm this guy, everyone thinks I'm a douche. It's like, nah, what are you talking about?
Making
I
up
wanted
for
to look
lost-
like this the whole time.
Making up for lost time.
Yeah, I was an ugly little kid. That's why I was so funny. And
It's hard for me to imagine that you were ugly.
well, I wasn't ugly. I had like long, like kind of weird hair,
Okay.
braces. I was really skinny, and I don't know why. Couldn't put on weight. Couldn't
Okay.
put on weight, whatever. And then I had bad clothes that didn't fit me.
Okay.
So I could have, like I could have been on one of those like,
Too bad
makeover
Sears
shows.
didn't pluck you up and make you a model.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was queer eye. I could have used queer eye for the straight guy.
They should start doing it for 5th graders.
That'd
Yeah,
be
they should.
amazing. That'd change my whole life.
Maybe that's the next season.
Oh
a
my
good
god,
idea.
that's a great idea. So she took a liking to a guy that was less than desired by anyone else at our school by far. She could have had Anthony Medina. She could have had Mike Jensen. She could have had you name it. And what I lacked in looks and everything, I made up for in status, like by being the silly guy in school. Now, she could have had any of them. She went for a guy named Daniel Evans, right? And Daniel Evans is a great guy. He's a great guy. But at that age, we were pretty on the low rungs of girls
Right.
wanting to be with us. For some reason, she liked Daniel Evans. We couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it. So much so that we conspired against Dan Evans and said, hey, man, why would you like her? She's gross. I mean, oh my God, you like that? We literally lied to his face until he would call her on the phone
No.
and break up with her. And he did. And he obviously didn't want to, but he did. He broke up with her. And when he broke up with her, this is
Unbelievable.
what's so legendary about this story. She's like crying. She doesn't understand why. She didn't do anything wrong. Like he didn't have any problem with her. Like he was being a sweetheart probably like an hour before that. He calls, he goes, it's over. Yeah, I don't want to be with you. Yeah, you're dumped. And he was just being so aggressive too. We were like, yeah, this is good for us. And then
Monsters.
he goes,
Yeah.
I hate your boobs. And he hung up the phone.
How great is that?
I hate your boobs.
You guys are like, what?
We were like, yeah. We literally erupted because we were around him like while he's doing the phone call, like, yeah.
This is like the hardest part about like being a
I
kid.
hate
You just
your
do dumb stuff. It's just,
Do you think she still thinks about that?
She's like, I hate him too. That's the only thing we agree on.
We should send her this clip just so it might like rectify something. Like she's carried
Yeah.
this weight.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Like, why would he break
She's
up
carried
with
the
me?
weight so much that she has lower back pain. That's how much.
And she got a rejection.
I wish I could tell you.
Rejection.
And I
Yeah,
also
she
thought she
probably
was
got it.
so gorgeous. Like I'm a face guy. She was so beautiful, and I remember just to this day, I'm thinking about a fucking 5th grader. It's crazy.
Yeah, now she'd be disgusting.
Yeah.
But 5th grade.
But in 5th grade, come on. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have anything. That's one thing that people forget about too. Is like,
Porn?
no, we definitely don't forget about that.
Changing how
Actually,
you-
one of our
changing how
last
you have
guests
sex?
brought porn
we have-
of herself.
We have porn in this room.
Well, she brought porn of herself.
On DVD or like
on
a Fire
DVD.
Stick?
We're like,
Whatever
DVD.
it's
Yeah,
called.
she brought like on DVD, which is that's why they're not opened.
Yeah.
We're like,
Why
we
are
know
they
we're
still sending screeners?
What did you bring?
My dick.
Our guests usually bring videos of them blowing people and
You can
having
always
sex.
tell, like, so I like sometimes, I guess just my last relationship was on again, off again. And I could always tell, like, when he started watching porn again, because we'd have sex again and it'd be like, he'd
Better?
be like, no.
Worse.
He'd be like with my tip being like, and I'm like, what are you doing?
That's not a thing.
No. Where did you see this?
That's for other people to watch visually.
Yes, stop
It's
it.
not for your
I started
hand
laughing.
or my tip.
I started
That's
laughing. I was
for
like, what are you
other people.
doing? Jiggling it like that. And who's this for? Who
That's
is this
funny.
for?
Are you
Yeah.
recording this? Why would you
Yeah.
jiggle
Probably.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But I
amazing.
could always tell, like, if he was like, you know,
He became more deviant.
yeah, or just did
Basically.
weird stuff. I'm just like,
That's funny.
you know,
Porn is deviant.
Yeah.
I think it's whatever. I'm really not anti it. You know
Yeah.
what I noticed? This is
I'll tell you. I'll
controversial
explain.
take.
We go. Oh,
or not
controversial.
controversial, just a wild thing I noticed. So I didn't know that Twitter has porn. I mean, it's like I did. I remember.
Really?
I remember working at
Is that allowed?
Intelligentsia years ago when I moved here, and I remember checking my Twitter. Has to be like 2011,
Yeah.
and I remember like, like a boob coming up on somebody I follow that they retweeted. I was like, oh my god, a boob! And I'm at work, and I like.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
on like where you log in
Yeah, like
into
Oh, yeah.
Safari. Like that's how you clocked in and out. And I was like, I shouldn't be looking at Twitter at work. And then B,
Yeah,
are there
definitely not
cameras
this
that saw me
Twitter.
see a tit?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that. So it's like I did know that, but then I don't follow
Kinda
anybody, so I
forgot.
hadn't seen
Yeah,
it
yeah,
for years.
This
And
full
then
on.
Chris Crocker, who I follow, the guy who's like, leave Britney alone.
Yeah,
Oh, that
and
kid.
he's a porn star now.
Oh
So
god.
he-
What?
Yeah. So he retweeted a fans only account. You know what fans only accounts are?
No.
Well, they're on Twitter or I think whatever. It seems as if like you subscribe and you pay. It's like a Patreon for porn stars, I guess.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, you pay and you get the extra.
Yeah.
But there's still like a lot in the clip. Like you get
Yeah,
to
no,
see
yeah,
a
no,
lot.
yeah.
Like you could
like
essentially get the job done with just the
25
clip.
seconds of
if you really
just
wanted
like
to.
some
And so I'm looking at this clip that he's retweeted. And then if you want to see the rest, like you click on it
Right.
and subscribe. But I was like, it was gay.
Full
It was
on.
gay sex, and I've never watched gay sex.
Yeah.
But I found myself like kind of into it.
Well, you were curious. Oh no, you
No,
were
I'm
curious
saying, like, I
and
was
then
kinda,
got
like,
into it.
Yeah, I was a little like into it. This is the first time I really told
Man
anybody.
on man is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
this is the first time I really talked about it because I was
Yeah.
kind of surprised.
See, I've seen man on man sex. Didn't do
mean,
anything for me.
But I just mean like if you think about it, it is just you're watching this, and if that's what gets you off, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but you're
Yeah.
taking what I like to be, doubling it, and getting rid of my favorite part.
Yeah.
The woman. So it's like
I don't know
I'm
what-
usually doing that.
Yeah.
I like to be strong and like I don't want two of the strong.
Sure.
And it's not me. And you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like it's
I get it,
Yeah.
but I just because I was surprised by it, I was like, "Oh, interesting." And then,
like what if I wasn't there at all?
Yeah,
It's really what it
I don't
is.
have to do anything.
Yeah, it's like a dude watching.
Yeah, that's what you like
Yeah.
about it.
It's like a dude watching lesbian porn.
I don't
Sure,
know. I'm not
there,
into
you know,
lesbian porn.
but
Yeah.
a lot of dudes are.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know what it was. I just was like, I
Interesting.
kind of surprised me, and I, you know, at this late in the game, I was like, okay.
I will say why I said that porn is deviant, and I don't judge anyone for doing anything that they want. I don't give a shit what you like. But as I'm looking for porn that I might be interested in, I just want it to be like a beautiful woman
Same.
and like a blowjob and then some sex. And
Yeah.
then the guy going down on
I
her a
can
little.
never find something that I'm like too
I don't need it to be
clean,
like, oh, your dad
normal-looking
never.
people.
Your dad doesn't have a dick this big, and like all this
Yeah.
like really like deviant shit. Like hurry, quick! Your girlfriend's gonna get home soon. Like cheating, and like it's
I've been
weird.
thinking about that lately because, like, you know how, I mean, you hear all the time, like, I don't want to go to the strip club. Those girls have bad relationships with their dad or something
I
like
don't
that.
go to the strip club because I'm cheap.
But I'm just saying, like, you know how that's like a stereotype, like
Sure.
daddy issues, and
Yeah.
I'm sort of like, what are we doing? I'm curious about how much of that is real, and what's the equivalent for a man, like a drug dealer? They're
What do you
just
mean?
smart.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
They're just would you rather get like, I get that it involves sex, but if like you're into it and you consent, then it's like they
You'd be
obviously
doing the
do.
same as you're making
Why
money.
would you? Yeah, where is the dignity loss? Because everybody likes sex,
Yeah.
and you're just
getting to
getting
pick
paid
who you
for it.
want. Yeah, and
yeah.
you
I'm
make it-
sort of like,
We've made this argument
where
a bunch of
is
times
the
on this
dignity
podcast.
loss? Because would you rather work in a red CVS vest
Yeah.
for $8 an hour, or get paid a couple
Right.
$1,000 for an hour?
Not to mention, you're
kind of
definitely
just
going to enjoy
smart.
the sex. And also, think about this. Shame on us. We're having sex for free.
Right.
I'm just giving it away.
Yes.
I'm just sort of like, it's interesting. I've been thinking about that lately. And then
Yeah.
what does it mean for the man? Like, when I just think it's always been weird to me when guys are like, she got daddy issues and that's why she's a stripper. It's kind of like,
Yeah, I don't know who you hang out with. I've never heard
Easy
that.
money.
yeah, I'm just sort of like, maybe, but I also have a friend who's done it just to make money.
Yeah.
Well, but I also think like stripping is way less dignifying. And people will disagree with this, I guarantee it. I think stripping's worse than porn. Because stripping, you don't make good money unless you do like
Oh, the
hand
extra
jobs
things?
and like
Okay.
lap dancey
See,
things.
I don't even know.
And when you do those kind of things at a strip club, those aren't people you would generally consent with.
Right, you
Whereas
wouldn't
at least
want
with
to, really.
porn, like you're gonna go like I will or will not have sex with that person. Where in a strip club, you've kind of got to go. I guess I got to let this old guy who's like weird.
Okay.
It's only gonna be 20 minutes, and I guess I'll touch his dick.
Did you see
And that's,
Hustlers,
so that's
by the way?
way
I
worse.
haven't.
I started to try to watch the screener of Hustlers, but I haven't
Oh,
finished
really?
it. Yeah.
Or like I haven't seen it. Ask the girls at like Jumbo's Clown Room.
Right.
Right? They don't make much if you're just a talented dancer. like you just
Yeah, I didn't
the way
think
you
of
make
that.
money is like prostitution. It's like basically prostitution.
That's not good.
Mm-mm.
No.
So there's
Especially
a
if
lot of
it's-
dignity
because
lost.
especially if you're not safe.
Yeah.
You know, you're just at work going in some room with some guy.
Yeah, and also dangerous, and it's also like smells gross in there, and they're competing with the
Yeah.
other girls you probably didn't want to keep the company with. Not to mention, count how many hot guys go to strip clubs.
Not a lot.
One every year. Like
Yeah.
it's just, and he's married, and he's like, I probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
I might throw a few dollars on
I
a
went with a
boob.
bunch of comics during a short-lived Vegas comedy festival.
Oh, yeah?
And it was just like, I'm not trying to be like the buzzkill, but it was like, I actually talked about this with one of the guys who was with us that night, but it was just, it didn't feel great. I don't know.
It's the environment is toxic.
It didn't
I've
feel
never-
great.
I've never been.
I already told this story
It's,
on one other
it
podcast.
feels
'Cause
gross.
just because I knew I wouldn't enjoy
Yeah,
it.
it's not
so.
even a story; it's just a moment, and I've said it before. But she was like dancing in front of him. Like basically, all the comics were on the back row, and in front of us, there's tables, and then the stage. So a woman was giving a lap dance to somebody in front of us, so we could see her dancing in front of him, and she was kind of like sexy. And then the minute she went over his shoulder to grind on him a little bit, her face changed and dropped.
Yeah, like
'Cause
she was like dead
He
inside.
couldn't see it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like she wasn't like. You know what I mean? But it was kind of like sexy, and then she was like,
and then like back to business.
Yeah, yeah.
like just like this is my job.
Yeah. And it was just seeing that I was kind of like, I think I'm gonna go home.
Yeah.
I don't really.
No, I agree
If
with you.
they're not in
100%.
it for the love of the game,
No.
I don't want to be part of
Yeah,
it.
you're like, I want to lap dance, but only if you're gonna love it.
I don't want to sound jaded, but the people, you know what strip clubs are for? They're for married dudes. They're for like people who are like, I can't have anything else. Like
Yeah.
I guess I'll go to this deviant thing. And
Marriage is so weird. I think it works for some people, but dang,
oh yeah,
What-
1% of the
what-
people.
what is happening?
It does work for those 1%
But what
of
is
the people.
happening? I'm just sort of like, I
We're
get
doing
that
things
we're
'cause we
all just
think we have
doing
to.
it, but yeah, and I think it's hard just because like the hardest part, even just breaking up, is knowing that maybe it's not right, but it is hard to watch them go be with somebody else. Usually, even if you don't want to be with them, it's kind of
Right.
like, that sucks
Yeah.
a little, you know.
Sure.
And even if you don't, so I think that's really to me, I think the hardest part about marriage.
I
Is
mean,
like,
that's a hard thing.
it
Even when you're just
ending.
dating someone,
Yeah.
people feel that way. So imagine
what I
like
mean.
being like legally attached.
I think
Makes
it's
it even harder.
mental. It's like a mental. What's the term for
well,
this?
it's clinging to such a past thing where I'm
Yeah.
like, this doesn't work for a modern age now, right?
Mental trap is what it is. So because like I know people that are married who are miserable. They hate each other. However, they would never even consider breaking up. One, because of the social reputation. Two, because of the dependency. So
Mhm.
like I've actually heard girls go, well, where would I live if I broke up with him? It's like,
Yeah.
that's how you think?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that's what's
sucks.
got you staying.
Like
sucks.
that's such a stupid, like you could be anything. You could go anywhere. Like what?
Right.
And then the third one is invested time is a real mind manipulation.
Yeah. Or
So
tr-
you
and-
think
and
like,
tr-
well, we've spent we have all the same friends, and I'm like, I love his mom, and you know,
But you
so
can
there's
still
that like.
end something gracefully.
But people don't believe that.
Yeah. And then, I forgot the other one, but I thought of something else when you were saying that. Oh, trauma bonds, you know, like if you've been through something together or like if you had a baby or you lost a baby or whatever it is, like somebody who's been there through thick and thin.
Right. Actually, I have kind of when my sister died, my ex-girlfriend was so sweet to me.
Yeah, that's hard.
Even though she had no reason to be sweet to me. I didn't do very good at being a boyfriend. And, but she knew that I needed someone that I trusted and loved. And she was so nice to me that I was like, oh my God, this is the love of my life. Like she loved me through this thing. And obviously the same problems arose.
Yes,
and the
of
same
course.
positives were there.
I've had similar, like this is a, pretty toxic relationship, but you felt like you were there for me, and so I just stayed longer than I should have.
Well, also all the same when you go back and forth with someone. All those people always go, well, you know that those problems are still going to be there and you'll inevitably break up again, is a quote by Daniel Tosh to me about my relationship. But what he neglecting or why that's pessimistic is because it's like all the good stuff's still there too. Yeah. We still have wild sex and we still like really make each other laugh and we still get each other's humor. And all the negatives are there, but those positives are still there. So that's kind of fun.
Hard. It's all difficult. Like letting go of somebody, moving on. Like again, even if it's not right or it's toxic, it's like I can watch a video that I find, who cares, like in my photo library that I saved, and it's like him like coming up and scaring me or doing something silly and then me dying laughing, and I'll laugh again because it's that funny. Right. And you're like, I hate you.
Right. But that moment of time was real, and it's so like a funny thing. Yeah. I actually think about this, and I'll run this idea by you. So I think a lot of reasons people aren't successful with their relationships in modern times is because they try to force an outcome. So they say like, well, where do you want to have kids?
Where do we see this
you want to
going?
get married? You know, it's like they're saying like they're trying to negotiate something that is virtually unnegotiable.
Impossible to know.
You can't negotiate that. You can't negotiate a future. You can't say like, oh, I'll only go see this movie with you if it has a happy ending. We don't know if we're even going to like the movie or if the happy ending is going to be there, let alone saying you're not going to see it unless it is. Yeah. That's called a fucking spoiler. We don't know what it's going to end like. And I think that's what like a lot of young people are like, wow, he just wants to have fun all the time and travel the world and flirt with me, but he doesn't want to like get married. You're like,
no shit.
Okay, doesn't that sound good? Yeah. And then when you get sick of me and my bullshit, you can move on. And
it's not just, I mean, like, I'm not saying you were saying this, and I might be an exception. I don't know. I'm not trying to, I've always like had a bit of a eye roll when girls are like, I'm a dude's girl, and I just like, just got a lot of guy friends. It's like, I have women friends, I have male friends. I will say I do lean more towards the stereotypical man view of a relationship, or like fear of commitment or something. Like I think I watched some of Adam Devine's special, and he was like joking about fear of commitment. I'm like, I relate to that just as much. Like
you commented on one of my marriage videos. Yeah, when I was like talking about how like that just seems so long, and it seems like
and then also like, of course, I'm sure some comic has had this take, but it's the idea that marriage was invented when you lived to 16. You know what I mean? Like we're living way longer. It's just not reasonable. And I have a lot of this in my new hour, like these ideas in the subject of it, because I know that it can work for some people, and I'm thankful that I don't feel the pressure to do it now. But I also am just like, what are we doing?
But that's a double standard too, is that you will be considered an empowered, smart female for having that take, where I look like a commitment issue fuckboy. Because like when I do that material, people say that to me all the time.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I will say like, I don't, it's taken a lot of finesse over the last 2 years to actually get people to not pull back from me.
Okay.
Oh, like if I had a joke that was like, I'd rather, I'm not much of a risk taker. Like I'll never skydive or bungee jump or get married. Like if I had to choose between any of those, I would bungee jump, because I feel like a grouping of synthetic fibers has to be stronger than two people making a promise. It's easier to bounce back from. So it's like I don't even tell that anymore, because it's in an arsenal of like boom, 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 and like they don't laugh. They're sitting there. Actually, maybe I could bring this one.
They're thinking more than
I had a save that was like, if you're sitting here and you're laughing, I maybe I need to listen to an old tape. You know when you don't listen and then you lose really great stuff?
I've done that recently. I was like, that chunk.
Yeah, I know.
That was a good chunk.
Disappeared. I just remembered it now, because it was a save that I had.
Write it down. Put it in your phone.
It was a save that I had when people were pulling back about me shitting on marriage.
Yeah.
Now I say like, it's not bad. It's not for everybody. My grandparents were married 70 years.
Stop prefacing it.
But I have to like say the 70 years thing, and then it takes everything in me to not be like, because they had to.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
People only do that. I mean, it's a dead idea.
Okay, I'm gonna write.
Like
it
my
down.
friend Mike Roy, he told his girlfriend straight up to her face, "I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids." And she loved him so much that she was like, "Well, I'll just be with you. Like I want to be with you.
Yeah.
And whether you want to get married, she really wanted to get married. And she I don't know what her take was on kids, but he was so upfront about it at first, and she was so mature enough to be like, "But I love this guy.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't want to do that, then I'm not going to make him do that." Guess what he did after they were together for like 10 years? He didn't want to get married, but he knows she did.
Yeah.
And he said, he proposed and he wanted to, he said, "I know it's important to her and I wanted to do this because I want to spend the rest of my life with her and I don't want to be married, but she does. So like, let's do it." And I think that that's a good lesson I learned, or like that they taught me, of like, don't try to worry about it. Like it's going to get there. Like let it get there. Right now, I say I don't want kids. Let's say we hit it off, we date for 10 years, and then we both go, you know what, let's adopt a kid, have a little rugrat running around. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Just because of my Jeff Dye in December of 2019 doesn't want to be married, doesn't want to have kids. I could get there, but maybe I won't.
And even for me, it's like as a woman, and I think it happens with men too, but like your hormones change, your chemistry changes,
Sure.
like things just happen as you age where you do change on a specifically something like that.
Yeah, when I was 15, I thought it was funny to say the N-word.
We already covered that.
But
We
that's
need to
my
edit
point.
that out.
I've changed. I'm not like that. Like say,
Sure.
that was something
well,
that
perspective and yeah.
you grow up.
In a certain thing. I forget where I was. You reminded me of something else, but yeah, like I have this similar thing where I'm just like, I can't know. Oh, I know what you said, and I can't remember what movie it's from or what it's from, but it's essentially like loving with an open hand. It might be like Lindy West's book. Yeah, but it's like loving with an open hand. So if you want a little birdie to land on you, you like this or like this, whatever. But it's the idea of like, I'm not going to grab you.
Right.
Because you'll fly away or I'll hurt you.
Exactly.
You just have to let them come sit on your hand.
And Al
however
Jackson,
long they want to stay.
Right. And
if
that's
you keep it still and if you like keep it warm or whatever, then they'll stay.
Exactly.
But if you start like being weird or shaking or
or
start
like poking it and being like, change your beak, get rid of this feather, keep this one, wear a scarf, and you're like, what the fuck? I'm a bird.
Yeah. Get this tiny hat off my head.
What are you doing? I thought it was just your hand bird.
But yeah, love with an open hand.
I love you. I could talk to you forever.
I know. We better go. I have some shopping to do.
Thanks for doing my
Not really. I just
podcast.
gotta return stuff.
Our podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I got one final question.
Yes.
Beth, where do we go when we die?
Or what happens?
Oh, sorry. What happens when we die?
Yeah.
Gosh, I would love to think that there is some sort of heaven or a second life or something. It's like, when you hear stories, obviously, about people seeing a light or seeing loved ones.
Yeah.
Or even my friend recently, and this is so funny
An
and beautiful.
out-of-body experience.
My friend Erin was with her grandma, and she didn't have enough morphine. They later found that out, but she was on her way out. She was about to die, close to. And she said to Erin, like, is it okay if I go? They're here for me. And she starts talking to her ex-husband who already died, naming him. And I'll get my purse. Oh, they said I can't bring my purse, and I can't bring my bones. Which is hilarious.
That
and so
is
she's saying,
so
she's
funny.
saying to her granddaughter,
Don't forget to bring your bones.
they said I can't bring my bones or my purse.
That shows there's a sense of humor in that afterlife too. I got chills a little
They said I
bit.
can't bring my bones.
No, but I love this.
And she visited me at the attic too. My friends drove down from Chicago, but Erin's grandma.
Yeah.
And she said, can I go? And Erin goes, her dad was just down, like had left and was going to, he said, can you just, my dad's actually going to be around a little bit. She's like, could you just wait a little bit?
Can you tell
Calls
God?
her dad, like, how close are you?
Yeah.
And then her dad, who's a doctor, said you should give her a little more morphine or something. So they had a little more time for everybody to come. So I don't know.
Right.
But it's so, those stories you hear, like from people you know and love and
it's
trust, you're
nice.
just like, I wonder.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really would love, I can't bear to think
They're
about my
here
mom
for
being
me.
gone. And I just would love to be able to.
Right.
So I don't know where you go.
Yeah.
Death scares me, especially like, because you won't know you're dead, especially if you believe in like this final, like that we're organisms and then it's just blackness and then your life was never. And then
What is that?
what is it?
I don't
It's
want to believe that.
terrifying. I don't want to believe
I
that
think
either.
trying to answer this question too is similar, like asking a person like ourselves, like what happens when we die, is like asking like a squirrel to describe algebra.
Right.
Like we will never, what it is probably so beyond what we could ever even
And sometimes you're just
understand.
looking for someone to make you like feel better sometimes, or like, do you know something I don't, and can you tell me?
I'd love to know.
Which is we can't bring our bones, you know.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better.
I love that.
I love that too, and like they're here for me is like kind of a startling
they're
one
here
too.
for me.
Like that, like a group.
And she
of
started
loved
bickering with her
and
ex-husband a
angels
little,
and-
like, I'm coming.
That makes me not believe it.
Yeah, but she was
There's
just sort of like
bickering in the afterlife.
Yeah, they were just sort of like,
Yeah.
which I know, which is funny because like you think she'd be happy to see him again.
Yeah. Well, you know why death scares me?
Why?
Because I fucking love my life. That's the bad part about loving my life every day and waking up happy and going to bed happy is that I'm so happy to be here that death seems real scary. It's like, what if I don't like that? This is great. That's the only bad part about my happiness is that I'm afraid to die because this is good. I'm in heaven every day, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is scary.
What can we promote for you? How can the people find you? Where are you going to be next?
I'm touring until I'm touring. So go to sweetbeth.com
Sweet Beth.
/tour.
You doing clubs? Theaters?
Clubs and then some one-nighters here and there. Like
Nice.
this weekend I'm through Oregon, Bend, Salem, and Eugene, just like little one-nighter spots.
Nice.
And then, some clubs, Comedy Works Denver in January, another string of one-nighters, Charleston, Durham, Houston.
Can you
I'm out
tell
there.
Sarah Silverman that I'm a fan of hers?
I will.
We had one bad interaction
I'll tell her.
on a red carpet.
It's so funny. You're not the only one who's asked me to do that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I mean, one other person was like, do you think she hates me? I'm like,
Oh, I don't think she knows I exist.
No.
She does not. She would be like, what? Who?
Tell her you said hi.
But one time we were like on a red carpet and I was like just trying to get any celebrity to talk to me for this like thing I had to do for extra, which I'll never do again. It was the last time I told them I'll never do it again. Because they just ignored me. They're like, what? Like fucking get away from me. So I just tried to be silly.
Yeah.
So I took a fucking giant thing of cashews from the craft services and I was just eating it while people walk by and they're filming this. And then like Jason Bateman walks by and I go, there, and he's like, yeah. And he actually had some. And so some people had different reactions that were very kind of fun. And then I saw Sarah Silverman and I like Sarah Silverman and I thought just maybe because we're both comedians, she had seen me before, like, knows. And so I go, you want to,
kiss you?
want a cashew? Or I said legume or something, trying to be cute. And she goes, she's like, like she gave me like fucking, what are you doing? Like kind of like that look, like you're a fucking idiot for offering me a cashew. And I was like, what? You don't like cashews? And she's like, she says to the guy next to her, because we're very close, we're as close as I am to like you guys. She goes, I just read that cashews are actually like a mold or something like that. She was like, just learned about cashews, and I reminded her, and she wanted to tell the person she's buying. And then I go, no, these are brand new. I just opened them. And then she looked at me again, which I thought was a funny rebuttal. Like what? Like fucking. And it was so like soul crushing.
Yeah, of course. You're like,
I took it
no.
I was like, no, I thought that was being silly. You're
I want to have
silly.
a cashew with you.
I'm silly. You're silly. Why can't we be
Yeah.
silly
Let's
together?
just be silly.
So BethStelling.com.
No, sweetbeth.com.
Oh yeah.
But I'm
Sweet
at
Beth.
Beth Stelling on everything else.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm just on tour. And I'm filming my new hour special in March in Chicago.
On Netflix.
No, HBO Max.
HBO went the dirty route, huh? Just kidding. It's not a thing. Tone Bear, what can the people find of yours?
Just you can follow me on social media. I am Tony Reavis and see.
Have they been
I'm
finding
up to
you?
you.
We do this every episode. Have people
Yeah.
been replying and
Yeah,
giving you?
someone commented. It was funny on you posted a clip of the podcast, and the guy was like, "You can't tag the people that are in it." It's like, yeah, Jeff. Why don't you want people to know that I'm in
Did you
this
see
clip?
my reply?
No.
It was yesterday. I replied to him, "My bad," because they compared me to Mario Lopez.
Yeah,
Mario Lopez kept me.
Right.
And I said, that's my bad. I'm super sorry. I love these guys. Follow them at Jeff Dunham for Jeff Sanasek, and follow them at Tony. I was
The
like Tony
Tiger.
Dungy or something. Like I picked a famous Tony.
That's funny.
Let me see if I can find it.
Well, that person followed me, so it worked.
Yeah.
They're finding
That
you.
one person.
Where can we find
I'm
you?
on my way.
Jeff.
Oh,
on
they
my
know
way.
where to find me. I'm all over the place. I'll find it. Some other famous Tony.
We're
Yeah.
here because of you.
JeffDye.com. That's where they can find me. That's a real website. Pay for it every month. Don't know why. People go to Instagram and Twitter. There's no need for a website. But you're a treat. Thanks for doing this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I asked her to do this a long time ago. We finally got you.
Friendship.
I told you love Beth. I told you that. Some of you might have been doubting. You're like, man, I don't know. But now, did you see who was right? It was Jeff. Jeff was right. That was very, very, very fun episode, and she's the best. And I told you, in your face. I told you. Thanks you to Beth Stelling for coming. She go to Beth Stelling, no, Sweet Beth, to find all of her stuff. If you want to see me, I will be in New York City all week. I think I'm doing the Comedy Cellar on Thursday. Friday, Saturday, I'm doing Gotham Comedy Club. I'm going to be doing the History Hyenas podcast, Sam Roberts podcast. I'll be doing some Barstool stuff. I have cellar dates, I think, on Monday and Tuesday. I'm not positive. But anyways, just keep an eye out for me. Go to my Instagram. You can find out where I am each and every night. That's at Jeff Dye. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here and listening to our podcast. I hope you subscribe. I hope you rate and review. Otherwise, I'll talk to you next week.